evolved our logo too, representing a new phase of our journey while keeping continuity with our roots. But we do not have just a new name and logo. We also have our in-person events now in two locations at the same time, Auckland and Wellington, opening new opportunities for speakers, contributors, and for meeting together. And we also are very pleased to welcome two new members in our team of co-organizers, Tanya Somova and Anton Shaw. Tanya is a senior digital designer with Mott MacDonald based in Auckland. She's an architectural engineer and computational designer with over 6 years working experience in built environment, skilled in parametric and interactive design, automation, data visualization, complex building modeling, and design optimization. Anton is BIM coordinator and architectural technician within Warren Mahoney, based in Christchurch. He brings a passion for all things BIM. One of Anton's focuses at Warren Mahoney is on automation and using technology to create more complex geometry, efficient managed data, pull out analytics, and create documentation from the model. He has been involved in creating and implementing workflows to make automation and efficiency easily accessible by all across the practice. Great to have Tanya and Anton on board. Sorry. By the way, if you don't like the new logo, that will be on me, as I designed the new one after designing the old one. But I hope that this is not the case and you like the new version of our firm, which evolved from the one created using the elements of the iconic Dynamo logo to an abstract and diagrammatic one representing workflows that connect data together. Yes, we still have the same acronym and we same growing, passionate and great community. We have also a fantastic presentation given by Shuwei Zhang, Senior Digital Designer Computational within Mott MacDonald. Before that, just some important information from our new friends. We held bi-monthly meetings. We publish our events on Eventbrite. Depending on the speaker, location, and circumstances, we host in presence or online events. The attendance is free, but registration on Eventbrite is essential. Our online events are recorded and available on our YouTube channel. We have now almost 250 subscribers from all around the world. Please subscribe to be notified when we publish new recordings. We also have a LinkedIn group page, which as of today counts, I wrote yesterday around 330 members. We are almost 340 today. For our new friends, please join and stay in touch. Before introducing our speaker, please let me thank our session sponsor, Mott MacDonald, and our venue sponsor, Warren Mahoney Architects, hosting the event both in Auckland and Wellington. Tonight's speaker is Shuwei Zhang, Senior Digital Designer Computational with Mott MacDonald. Shuwei is the Senior Digital Designer at Mott MacDonald, specializing in extended realities and data visualization with extensive experience across large-scale built environment projects, such as the Christchurch Multi-Use Arena and Auckland Airport. He will give us a presentation titled Speckle, Preparing Your Data for Visual Analysis. It is an introduction into the open source tool Speckle, how it works and how it can be integrated into Revit and Rhino, and will examine the processing of BIM information generated from the day-to-day to generate and sort meaningful metrics to add better decision-making. This sounds very, very interesting for me. I hope for you too. And thank you all for joining us. I leave now the floor to Shuwei.
Oh, yep. Wellington, if you guys can hear us, give us a bell. The speaker should be on. Yep, I think we're good. Cool, awesome. All right, I will. All right, preparing your data for visual analysis using Speckle. So I'll begin my presentation with building information modeling. For those of you not in the construction industry, building information modeling is the creation of 3D objects within architecture, engineering, and construction industry that have extra data attached to them, otherwise known as metadata. Data is the most valuable currency of our time, and this is even more apparent in our workflows as they reveal to us exactly what it is that we're doing. So traditional building construction softwares such as Revit have these features built right in. But in other 3D modeling softwares, this is not the case. As part of our regular workflows, we use Rhino, an extendable 3D modeling software, together with Grasshopper, which is a visual scripting plugin for Rhino, in order to conduct various kinds of simulations and calculations. More often than not, all of the results of these calculations are often exported to Excel spreadsheets and lost in someone's downloads folder or desktop, and can easily break the link in our other BIM integrated workflows if not captured properly. So with this, I'll just quickly show you guys what the BIM environment looks like. So as you can see here in our 3D model, we have an element that is selected and attached to it with various amounts of information on the side there. So continuing on, so this is where Speckle comes in. Speckle is an open source plugin built on top of many programs we already use in the day-to-day, with connectors to Revit, AutoCAD, and Rhino, and many, many others, such as Blender, Civil 3D, and other softwares. What makes Speckle different to all the other interoperability plugins is the ability to freely customize your own data, choose what to keep, how you want to format them, and how you want to control them. This adds BIM capabilities to tools which otherwise wouldn't have had them, such as AutoCAD, Rhino, and by extension, all the other connectors they have there. And so in today's workshop, we will go over exactly how to do this in our Rhino Grasshopper environment and all the data that we can capture. So heading across to our live demo, this is a file that I've shared with everybody in our Doug user group GitHub repository. So it's taking the simple example file from Ladybug Tools, which is one that we use for climate analysis and performance, and then attaching the Speckle component to it. So I'll be talking through this script and showing you guys exactly what's going on step by step. So in examining the geometry preparation part of the script, we have the example geometry, which is a bunch of windows, some faces of walls, and some shading devices in there. So from that, Ladybug actually goes and generates these objects, which I will show you here just as an example. And then what it does is it runs 3 different analysis here for looking at hourly illuminance of sunlight, visual daylight autonomy, overexposure results, and radiation analysis and results. So by default, all of the data that's coming out of it, if we examine the data type, you'll see here it's just a mesh. Sometimes there's nothing, but otherwise it's just simple meshes. And so how do we go from something like that to something like this? And this is the bit where Speckle comes in. So with Speckle, the really cool thing about it is that you can pretty much take any object and then send it across to the Speckle server in its schema. So I'll just go through what we have captured. So over here in our daylighting, here you can see the percentage of tiles on the analysis surface that give us the above 90% daylight autonomy. And so you can grab the final colored mesh as well as the information here. So just by itself, it doesn't give us anything, but you'll see here when we convert this to a Speckle object, we have the option under our Speckle nodes to extend the object. And so what I've done here is attach the daylight results from this into the object itself. So that will give us an extended Speckle object, which we can then pass on to a collection of other objects and finally send to our Speckle server. So just run this one. So once we are happy with all of the data that we want to collect, the cool thing about it is that we can start to think about, okay, well, maybe it's not just the daylight or the other results. We can collect all the other inputs as well. So then what I've done is collected all of the results together into a name that's easily recognizable online. And that will help you sort through what you decide to upload. So I've also captured the variations that you can do to the model. So in our normal workflow, we tend to deal with a lot of different design options, and this is a really quick way to go through and sort through those options. So I've got a simple setup here to rotate the entire building by 0 degrees, 15 degrees, 45, and 60. And as I toggle through them, you can upload these streams one by one, and then you'll be able to see it in the Speckle online interface. So if I just go over to a Speckle page, you'll see here in the Speckle demo page that you guys all should have access to as well. There are all of the results that we have uploaded. So if I go into one of those, you can then see that's the results. And then through here is where you'll see the breakdown of your information that I've attached before. And the great thing about this is it's completely up to you in how you want to structure something like this. Because as you get in more and more in depth into your projects, you can attach a lot of really useful, meaningful information to it. So here I've got the overexposure results, as you can see there. And then the building geometry itself, daylight autonomy, and the radiation analysis. So if we go over to the velodrome that we were looking at before, what's really cool about it then is that we're able to start filtering these elements by the values that we've attached to it. So for example, if I wanted to examine the carbon value that is between 100,000 kilograms embodied, I can do that, and it will highlight the elements in your model that has those. And the cool thing about it is that this is a tool that is continuously being developed by the team at Speckle, who are constantly looking to add more and more features to improve it in your day-to-day workflow. And so this kind of wraps up the initial live demo part of the presentation. So I would implore you guys to all have a play with the example file yourselves when you get a chance and see what it can do for you. And so back to our slides. So where can we go from here? Because of the agnostic nature of the information, we're able to save a lot of time by creating a script which will run through all of the analysis and parameters we want to change in a model, which for us allows us to quickly sort through hundreds of iterations. This way of integrating the data into our workflows allows us to examine all possible outcomes and pick the best option that aligns with our performance requirements. So here you see on the screen is a screenshot from a web application that we've developed internally. And taking what you saw just now in the live demo to a whole nother level, where we have a few different input parameters that affect what we want to do with the building. So for example, we have a facade angle that's between 7, 12, or 10, shading depth options of 450, 375, and 300, and so on and so on and so on. And what this tool allows you to do is to select from all of the multiple criterias and quickly filter out how many options fulfill those exact criterias. So they can either be the input parameters or the final results. And so when we're happy with that, we're actually able to bring up the models side by side and look at the differences there directly. So by leveraging the Speckle data, we can bring up the design iterations and compare them further. So for design decision making, it's an incredibly useful at-glance tool to see exactly what's going on in our projects. And with all the model data attached, we can get an overview on the performance metrics of each option, seeing the reductions and impacts of our decision making in near real time. Because this is connected live to our Speckle data, any future iterations that you upload can be compared and displayed through our web application. Because the Speckle data is not limited to just CAD software. They've now got connections to straight code in forms of Python and to software such as Power BI, which will allow you to fetch this information straight away as well. And so this is just a small example of how Speckle can be used in an AEC workflow. So I've only just scratched the surface of the possibilities here, but I'm very excited for where the future of it all can take us. So thank you for that. Yep. And excellent question there. So for us in our workflows, the biggest amount of difference we can make is in the beginning decision making of the project, right? Because the bigger moves make the bigger impacts. And that's kind of the way we've chosen to use it here. But we do have another piece of work coming up that examines it from a more defined perspective. So it could be something that can enable us to track the development of the project with, say, each phase, right? So we can have the snapshots of the project. Say, for example, if we wanted to change like this element, upload it to Speckle, push that to a Power BI dashboard, then you have a at-glance overview of the entire project that anyone who isn't a CAD user so that's another really interesting question. And I've had a chat to developers of Speckle, kind of on the download, they were that brings Autodesk. So look, I don't think it's going to replace that product anytime soon because there's so much integration built in already. But what I do see is it kind of living alongside that existing workflow, like where you to extend it, like by connecting Grasshopper and Revit together, so, and everything else. I've seen examples of people using it as a foundation workflow, where they're able to send it to very, very early versions directly to our engine. And so I think that it's open source. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So it's open source right from what you saw with the transport to the point where they provide you instructions on if you wanted to deploy it on your own, do that as well. So if you wanted to modify the connectors in any way, or if you want to host it somewhere and customize that server, something else. Oh yeah. We have used that as well, but the ease of being able to send that data to everywhere else.
We have a couple of questions here in Wellington when you're free, Shuwei.
Okay, Anton.
So you have
Do you want to ask your questions now, Chris?
yeah, I don't. You have to sit closer to this.
Hang on, guys. I just got to answer one more question, and then I'll get back to you guys. Oh, okay. Yep. So the question there was, are you able to spit out an IFC at the end of the development process of Speckle? And another thing that came from the Speckle developers is that they're not looking to replace the IFC as a standard, but rather work alongside them again. So I think there is a connector for IFC coming. I'm not sure, but they are definitely wanting to work. Be pretty good. Wellington.
I'll see.
Are we muted?
Yeah, you should be able to talk fine.
Testing.
Yep.
So just a specific question about, I guess, using a particular branch of a stream as a series of documents rather than a single document. So I was just sort of wondering, are you doing that often? Is it working for you? Like, is it something that's regularly part of a project workflow? And the reason I ask is because the Speckle team are actually going through a rebrand at the moment where they're explicitly going to shift for each commit in a branch being a version of a document. So just a question about that. Like, do you use it the other way?
So that's an excellent question. So currently, the way people are using branches and commits at the moment is kind of like just folders. But there was a reason why they named it that, and that is to sort of emulate what Git has in its version control. I'm not exactly sure if that's where they're going, but that's from my understanding, because the Speckle base object, what which is what everything gets converted to, is a set standard schema that can then be used to compare differences between, say, like next commit with this one, which would potentially allow the ability to operate like a decentralized Git type of thing, where you can start to work on different parts of the project separately and then push it back once you're ready without destroying what's already there. But again, you guys will have to chat to the developers. I'm just the messenger.
So yeah, we were on a call with Speckle last week, and they said that they were explicitly moving away from the Git-like structure into a more document versioning language. Just because under the hood, it doesn't really behave like Git. It is more of a versioning.
Yeah,
and
just folders at the minute.
So I guess the point of that is it probably was actually worth raising your use case as a case study to them, because it does. I agree. I think a branch and commits within that branch can act more of a folder structure than as a document version. But yeah, so it's probably worth actually just raising that case study proactively, just so that they're aware that that's how people are using their tools. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. That's great.
Anyone else with questions in Wellington? No? Pretty quiet? We're all good here then?
Cool. We're all good. Oh,
Cool.
Yep. Just shout out. Yep. So the question there was, how would this integrate with more of the web compute platforms that are out there, like Rhino Compute and other things like that? I actually see it as a really cool way of, say, running it off your computer, so it's not kind of like locking it up. So you could start to think about it as having little instances of like workers that is interacting with your Speckle stream that's doing some heavy lifting work. So for example, when we run performance analysis, it locks up your computer for hours, sometimes days on end. And one of our team lost all their data because the hard drive just crashed with all 200 gigs that was running for 14 days. So yeah, this in a way is a good way of mitigating that, because I've already implemented a part in the script where it automatically uploads to the stream every single time iteration is done. So we don't have that again. Yeah. And yes. Yep. So where I do think they're kind of going after BIM 360 is in the interactive element, like so. So when you add collaborators to your stream, you have the ability for people to start making comments, attach attachments or emojis, whatever you want. And then that will kind of get captured on the side as a history of like, oh, someone said this, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, like, and then the owner of that can go, oh, look, there's a new comment. Let's see what that says. And then you have a conversation of what's going on. So I think for like the later stages of the project, it can very well be used as a way to capture comments or even reviews from people.
Because I don't think it touched up on that, but you can also, as you can push to Speckle, you can also retrieve data from Speckle. So maybe that's something you could talk a little bit about how that happens in Hub. Perhaps you could get that message or emoji or whatever.
Yeah. So in the pure, I mean, I've only been using it with the Python connector, but you're able to retrieve all the details about the stream, however many comments are in there, and as well as like the comments, which elements they're attached to. I haven't tried this feature out myself on the other connectors, so I can't really talk to that one, but I'd imagine it'd be possible with that as well.
For the actual analysis of the different disciplines. So this can actually be a very good way of doing that, which I don't think you really have. And this actually, the nice thing is that Shuwei was pointing. You don't require license. Final, Revit, software, then you can just things out on for your.
Without data loss as well. That's right. That's right. Yeah. 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 That's right. That's right. I think in a way that's why these guys are trying to push so hard for, you know, design collaborations, pushing these features out, because it is kind of sorely missing in our industry, and ripe for disruption.
We have another question.
Ah, yes.
So how is it with the assets that you could
Yeah. Yeah, so I think like going back to the whole okay, how do we separate things and the commit branches, whatever, and how people are using it as a folder. So I suppose one way you could do it is to add multiple folders down here. You know, we've got like the / here. It could be part number 1 or part number 2 that people can then upload and check out, right? So this is a very simple one here, but I'm sure with bigger projects, you can easily divide that down. And then you do have the ability to upload files directly through the web interface as well. So if you wanted to add any attachments, you can do that. Oh.
Can I?
Yes.
How did you use it on Christchurch?
No. Unfortunately not. Cool. All right, well, if there's no other questions, thank you guys all so much for coming to this presentation and the first event of the year. Over back to you. Anything from Wellington? Typing.
Thank you, Shuwei. That was very good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Just on pizza and drinks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.